The girl quietly takes off her stockings. Though she feels extremely shy, seeing Amain turn his head away politely gives her an unexpected warm feeling. Mahiru is the dream girl of every boy at school. She always appears perfect in every way. But one rainy day Amain happens to pass by a park when he spots some pure white feathers floating by. Curious, he looks toward the park and sees an angelic girl sitting on a swing. He immediately recognizes her. Mahiru looks somewhat sad, but Amain doesn't want to get involved. However, when he sees tears rolling down her face, he changes his mind. He walks over and shields her from the rain, then asks what she's doing there. Mahiru then recognizes that he's actually her classmate. When Amain shows concern, she says she's just there on a whim. Amain worries she might catch a cold, so the next moment he forces his umbrella into her hands. Even though she keeps refusing, he quickly leaves the scene. The next day Amain catches a cold with fever. Though his friend Itsuki teases him for being weak, Amain doesn't bother explaining. Just then Mahiru appears at the classroom door. Her cute appearance instantly draws everyone's attention. Not only is she beautiful, but she's also extremely smart, always ranking first in exams. She excels in sports too, making her the perfect all-rounder. Most importantly, she's neither arrogant nor overly humble. That's why everyone calls her Angel. Every boy at school wants to date her. But even so, what does that have to do with Amain? Right now he just wants to go home and get some proper sleep. But as soon as he exits the elevator he freezes, because standing before him is the angelic Mahiru, beautiful as a fairy, turns out. Mahiru came to return Amain's umbrella, even though Amain said she didn't need to. Mahiru insists, it's only right to return what you borrow. But more than that, she notices Amain's face is bright red. Is he running a fever? Amain stubbornly denies it. Mahiru feels guilty, thinking if Amain hadn't given her his umbrella he wouldn't have gotten sick. Sure enough, Amain is too weak to even open his door. Seeing him wobbling unsteadily, Mahiru insists on repaying his kindness. But to her shock, the moment the door opens, she freezes for 2.5 seconds. Why is the room filled with trash? After 2 seconds of disbelief, she tells Amain to rest first. She'll come back later. Why later? Because their rooms are just a wall apart. This is Amain's biggest secret. The school's beloved angel, Mahiru, is his neighbor. Some time later, when Amain opens his eyes again, he sees an angelic girl by his side. It's already 8 p.m. He slept for 2.5 hours. Mahiru has been caring for him the whole time. Seeing him awake, she asks if he's hungry. If so, she'll make him porridge. Hearing the angel, will cook for him. Amain is flustered but grateful. But before eating, Mahiru tells him to check his temperature again. Wait until I leave to check it. Suddenly Amain understands why guys at school call her adorable. 2.5 minutes later, Mahiru brings him steaming millet porridge, but Amain hesitates to eat, thinking he wants her to feed him. Mahiru jokes. I don't do feeding services. Amain explains. I just didn't know you could cook. Mahiru shrugs. I live alone, of course I learned. But more than that, Mahiru is really bothered by Amain's messy room. Amain says he'll clean up once his fever goes down. He then takes a small sip of the porridge. The amazing taste blows his mind. This porridge is incredibly delicious. Seeing Amain's silly reaction, Mahiru gives a gentle laugh, noticing the good mood. Amain asks about that rainy day. Did you fight with your boyfriend? This makes Mahiru slightly angry. She doesn't have a boyfriend, and she doesn't plan to get one. Amain is confused by this. Mahiru is even more puzzled. Why would you think I have a boyfriend? Now Amain is completely lost. But you're so popular at school. Isn't it normal for you to have one? This really upsets Mahiru. She firmly says that she's not that kind of careless girl. Seeing Mahiru getting angry, Amain quickly apologizes. That was thoughtless of me. Please don't take it to heart. Amain actually knows their connection probably ends here. Taking care of someone you dislike must be really bothersome, but Mahiru doesn't seem to mind. She even gives a mysterious smile. The next evening comes quickly. Amain is doing his usual routine, eating energy jelly on the balcony. Mahiru happens to see this. A high school boy with a big appetite only eats energy jelly at night. Before Amain can reply, Mahiru brings him her leftover dinner. She thinks his eating habits are unhealthy, so she decides to help. This becomes a regular thing. After accepting that first meal, Mahiru brings Amain different dishes daily. She even checks if he has food allergies, as she dislikes picky eaters. One day Mahiru comes with food as usual but hears noises from inside. Amain is actually cleaning his room, but the room is so messy that he accidentally falls. Hearing this, Mahiru's old habit kicks in again. She decides to help Amain, then changes into home clothes and appears in Amain's house. You can tell Mahiru will clean thoroughly this time. First she ties up all the books, then sorts out the cardboard boxes, separates bottles from their caps, puts all dirty clothes in a laundry basket. She accidentally falls on top of him after they finish cleaning. It's already evening. To thank Mahiru for her hard work, Amain decides to order pizza, but Mahiru looks surprised at the pizza. This is her first time eating takeout. At home, meals are always specially prepared. Hearing this, Amain realizes Mahiru comes from a wealthy family. Watching Mahiru eat slowly, she looks so cute. Amain stares without realizing, but Mahiru tells him not to stare. So Amain suddenly thinks she's not cute anymore. But compared to her perfect angel act at school, Amain prefers Mahiru. When she shows her true feelings, this Mahiru is easier to get along with. Keeping up that perfect act at school must be tiring. Mahiru explains she's been raised to act this way. After eating, Mahiru prepares to leave. Amain is curious. Why does she share food with him every day? Do you get something from this? Actually, Mahiru just enjoys cooking. She likes showing off her cooking skills and she knows Amain won't misunderstand her intentions. So she feels relaxed and happy. Just think of it as good luck, she says. Then Mahiru leaves their neighbor. Life seems fun. Next day Amain sees Mahiru sitting alone in the park. She looks completely lost. So Amain walks over and asks what's wrong. Mahiru doesn't say anything about it, but the cat hair all over her gives her away. Turns out she just rescued a cat stuck in a tree but accidentally twisted her ankle. Seeing this, Amain firmly tells Mahiru to stay put. He'll be back in 2.5 minutes. He tells her to take off her tights. Mahiru looks embarrassed. So Amain hands her his school jacket to cover herself. Of course Amain won't peek, even if she's covered. He turns his head away. Seeing how gentlemanly he is, Mahiru carefully removes her tights. Though she's super embarrassed, Amain stays completely respectful. This makes Mahiru feel strangely warm inside, especially when Amain treats her injury with surprising gentleness. Maybe he's not totally useless after all. To keep her legs from being seen, Amain gives her a pair of pants. Mahiru takes them without thinking, not realizing there's more to come. He says, "Do you want people to recognize? It's you on my back." Mahiru feels a little awkward, but Amain doesn't care at all. "How can I let an injured person walk? That wouldn't make me much of a man." Hearing this, Mahiru glances at Amain's face. Oh, she feels her heart skip. The next day at school, since Amain lent his pants to Mahiru, he shows up barelegged. Itsuki can't help but laugh at him. Right then girls nearby start squealing. With his fair skin and gentle manners he's the prince, in every girl's eyes. Coincidentally, both the angel and the prince are Amain's classmates. But Amain thinks titles like prince and angel are way too childish. Just then he notices Mahiru sitting right across from him. Amain quickly looks away, but Mahiru suddenly smiles. All the boys around them are completely charmed. That evening Mahiru comes to return Amain's clothes and brings him lunch. As usual, she says her foot injury is almost healed, to thank Amain for taking care of her. She's made extra food today, but the lunch box is already cold. Though Amain appreciates Mahiru's kindness, he sometimes wishes for hot meals. When he mentions this, Mahiru looks shocked. She thinks Amain is hinting that he wants her to cook at his place. Realizing his mistake, Amain panics. He quickly apologizes, explaining he just feels bad about troubling her every day. After thinking for 2 seconds, Mahiru suddenly offers to cook at his home daily if he pays half the food expenses. This seems like amazing luck. Amain agrees immediately, but he wonders why Mahiru isn't worried. Mahiru says she's already thought it through. If Amain tries anything, she'll physically defend herself with deadly force. This threat makes Amain's hair stand on end. But more importantly, Mahiru believes she's not Amain's ideal type, so she feels safe. But she sets conditions. Split food costs 50/50. Extra expenses are Amain's responsibility. If they can't eat together, Amain must tell her 1 day in advance. He must also help with groceries and dishes, though since Amain can't cook, his help is useless. Mahiru quickly kicks him out of the kitchen. She then shows off her amazing cooking skills. Watching from the couch, Amain feels like he's married now. Not only is Mahiru beautiful, but her cooking is also amazing. Amain thinks he must be dreaming. Before he knows it, it's time for final exams again. Studying is tough, but seeing Itsuki show off his relationship hurts more. After dinner at home, Mahiro prepares to leave, but she accidentally drops her student ID. Amain picks it up and glances at it, then quickly returns it to her. Now Amain feels troubled because he saw Mahiro's birthday, and it's just 4 days away. After eating her food for so long, he should at least thank her properly. So the next evening Amain asks if Mahiro wants anything special. It's sudden, but she does have one request, a whetstone for knives. Amain is stunned. What high school girl asks for that? No way he's giving that as a gift. He has no choice. He asks Itsuki and Chitose for advice. Chitose tells him to describe her personality and likes, but Amain can't reveal. It's the neighborhood angel. Instead he asks her to guess using girl intuition. That night Amain nervously approaches Mahiro, clears his throat to get her attention, and hands her the gift. Mahiro is shocked. She never told him her birthday. Amain explains he saw the date on her student ID. He calls it a thank you for all her kindness and insists she take it. Mahiro can't refuse. She pulls out a small box and asks to open it. Inside is hand cream, a practical gift that Mahiro appreciates. But then she notices something else in the bag. Mahiro praises it as thoughtful, but she soon notices there seems to be something else in the bag. Amain suddenly looks embarrassed. The gift is a teddy bear. Amain says, if she doesn't like it, she can just throw it away. Mahiro insists she'd never do that. I'll treasure it properly. This is actually Mahiro's first birthday gift. Amain is surprised to hear this. Since Mahiro is so popular, shouldn't she get tons of gifts? Turns out Mahiro never celebrates birthdays. She even dislikes them, afraid of accepting gifts from strangers. Almost no one at school knows when her birthday actually is. Now Amain grows curious. Then why did you accept my gift? Because you're someone I know, she replies. Seeing how adorable Mahiro looks, Amain can't resist wanting to pat her head. But his better judgment wins. He pulls back his restless hand. Thank you, she says. Next day, while Mahiro cooks at Amain's place, his mom suddenly knocks on the door. Amain panics. He quickly gives Mahiro his keys, tells her to hide in his room while he stalls his mom, planning for Mahiro to sneak out later. But Mom's too sharp immediately notices something's off. The usually messy apartment is suddenly spotless while Amain's distracted mom pushes open the bedroom door, revealing Mahiro's angelic sleeping face. Mom freezes in shock. Well, never thought you'd land such a cute girlfriend. Guess I underestimated you. Amain insists she's not his girlfriend. Mom takes this as denial. If it's my son's choice, I won't object. This just makes things worse. Mom presses Amain further. If you didn't like her, why would you bring her home? And if a girl wasn't interested in you, she wouldn't go into your bedroom. Hearing this, Amain admits he does like Mahiro, but only as a friend. It's not the romantic relationship his mom imagines. Just then, Mahiro suddenly wakes up. She seems a bit confused, not understanding what's happening. Amain wants Mahiro to explain, but his mom moves too fast. She immediately calls Mahiro daughter-in-law, which shocks Mahiro. Confused, Mahiro looks helplessly at Amain. Amain can only shake his head. Amain rubs his head and tells his mom to stop bothering Mahiro. But his mom instead scolds Amain, saying he should properly call his girlfriend by her name. Then she starts pushing them to call each other by their first names. Mahiro tries to explain their relationship, but his mom won't listen. Finally, Mahiro is forced to say Amain's name. But to clear things up, Mahiro begs his mom to listen. Calmly, she explains they eat together only because Amain can't cook. This makes his mom even more excited. In that case, please take care of my useless son, Mahiro. Mahiro looks at Amain for help, but he can't do anything. When his mom gets this excited, she won't listen to anyone. After some struggle, they finally explain things to his mom, but she doesn't believe their story at all. Instead she brags. My son may be useless and stubborn, but he's honest and gentlemanly. Most importantly, he's never had a girlfriend before. So, Mahiro, please think about it. As his mom gets carried away, Amain angrily tells her to leave. His mom doesn't mind at all. Before leaving, she secretly asks for Mahiro's contact information. It seems Mahiro can't escape being her future daughter-in-law. After Amain's mom leaves, they both finally relax. Amain feels really sorry about this, but Mahiro finds it funny. She can tell Amain's mom really cares about him. It's nice to have a mom like that. So cheerful and kind. Totally different from my own mother. She's never even called me by my name. When talking about family, Mahiro's face fills with sadness. It's clear her childhood wasn't happy. Just then Mahiro remembers she hasn't returned Amain's key yet, but Amain tells her to keep it. He says she can return it whenever she doesn't want to be involved with him anymore. Besides, having to open the door for you is too much trouble. This might seem like Amain is just being lazy, but actually he truly trusts Mahiro. That's why he gives her the key as he finishes speaking. They share a meaningful look. This simple glance brings them even closer. The next day, final exam results come out. Amain ranks a modest 21st, while Mahiro is first again. But people say Mahiro has a different brain than normal people, which is why she always wins. This makes Amain angry, because only he knows Mahiro's great results come from her daily hard work. To celebrate Mahiro's first place, Amain buys her a cake. Mahiro is confused. Isn't first place normal for me? Why celebrate? Amain explains that because she always works hard, she deserves to reward herself sometimes. Hearing this, Mahiro smiles and, I'll gratefully accept then. She picks up a piece and eats it happily. The soft, chewy texture is absolutely delicious. Mahiro smiles happily, clearly enjoying it. Amain is stunned for a good 2 seconds, but Mahiro thinks he wants a bite too, so she picks up a piece and feeds it to him. Amain suddenly feels shy and awkward. This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Without hesitation, he quickly eats it. But then, Amain grabs the fork from Mahiro's hand. He picks up another piece and offers it to her. Don't ask, just eat it first. Days pass quickly. Christmas is just around the corner. Itsuki and Chitose want to throw a party at Amain's place, but Amain refuses without hesitation. No reason, that's not good enough. Chitose suspects Amain secretly has a girlfriend to prove his innocence. Amain reluctantly agrees. Later that night Amain asks Mahiro about her Christmas plans. Mahiro says she has none. Most of her close friends have boyfriends now. Even if a guy asks her out, she'd refuse. So she has no plans for that day. Amain then tells her about Itsuki's party at his place. Mahiro understands perfectly. She says she'll stay quietly in her own home that day. Seeing Mahiro's gentle expression, Amain gets an idea. Won't you feel lonely, all by yourself? Mahiro says she's used to being alone. Hearing this, Amain makes a bold request. Even if they can't spend Christmas Eve together, they can still celebrate Christmas Day. Mahiro doesn't refuse. Amain asks if there's anything she'd like to do. Actually, yes. Mahiro says she wants to play games with him that day. Soon Christmas Eve arrives. Itsuki and his girlfriend Chitose come to Amain's place. But Itsuki finds it strange. Since when did Amain's home become so clean? Chitose sniffs the air. I smell a woman. Amain blushes hard to change the subject. He tells them to stop showing off their lovey-dovey act. After all, public displays of affection never last long. While the two are shamelessly showing off their love, the heavy snow outside catches Chitose's attention. Excited, Chitose calls Itsuki over and the two run to the balcony on their own. It's the first snow of the winter. Then they spot Mahiro. After 2.5 hours of explaining, they finally believe Amain and Mahiro are just friends. But Chitose looks thrilled. After all, it's her first time being this close to the legendary Angel. Her delicate face, fair skin and perfect figure make Chitose so excited. She can't help but want to touch her. But Amain stops her just in time, saying Mahiro is shy around strangers. The next moment Chitose reaches out and asks to be friends with Mahiro. Mahiro says okay. Nice to meet you. After quick introductions, Itsuki quietly tells Mahiro, if Amain ever does anything bad, you can always talk to me. But Mahiro isn't embarrassed. She knows Amain isn't interested in her. The next day is Christmas. Mahiro visits Amain's place to play games, as promised. But despite being smart, she's terrible at gaming. Seeing her struggle, Amain can't take it anymore. He moves closer to Mahiro and starts teaching her how to play. Suddenly they both realize they're sitting way too close. Flustered, Amain quickly moves away and apologizes. But Mahiro blushing doesn't seem to mind. After 2.5 minutes of practice Mahiro gets much better at the game. But she also develops a habit. Her body moves with the game character. Her adorable reactions make Amain's heart race. Then something funny happens. Mahiro's head falls onto Amain's lap. Amain can't help but laugh. You don't have to tilt your body when the character moves. Hearing this, Mahiro blushes with embarrassment. But Amain smiles and says it's normal to tilt while playing. After continuous practice, Mahiro finally beats the game successfully. Amain can't help but clap for her. The next moment he sees Mahiro's gentle smile. His heart seems to skip a beat. He stands up and walks aside, then brings a small box. It's a gift for Mahiro beating the game. Inside is a pink keychain pouch, perfect for keeping Amane's spare key. Mahira looks completely surprised. Amane has better taste than she imagined, but she's also confused. She remembers Amane had great taste in middle school. Why has it gotten worse since then? At least this gift isn't bad. Amane looks puzzled. How does Mahira know about his middle school days? Little does he know. It's all thanks to his mom. She showed Mahira all of Amane's middle school photos. Amane can't even get mad about it. He explains that style didn't suit him. But Mahira disagrees. Even with his bangs covering his face, now she can tell Amane has handsome features. She reaches out to touch his face. This unexpected move makes Mahira stare for a long moment. Amane isn't one to back down either. If she touches him, he'll touch back. Looking at each other's faces up close, their heartbeats race wildly. A sweet tension fills the room. To break the tension, Mahira quickly shows Amane her Christmas gift for him. It's a black scarf. Amane looks genuinely pleased. Mahira finally relaxes. Amane keeps staring at Mahira lovingly. Mahira asks curiously, "Is there something on my face?" Little does she know, Amane just thinks her smile looks more natural than before. That smile just now was really super cute. But before he can finish, Amane suddenly gets his mouth covered by Mahira's scarf. Mahira quickly stands up and runs to the balcony. She tries to calm herself down, but it's surprisingly cold outside. Amane is very thoughtful though. He brings a coat when he comes out, then puts it around Mahira's shoulders. But Mahira thinks he's looking down on her. Remember who got so sick last time? They couldn't even get out of bed. Amane naturally argues back, but as they quarrel they both start laughing. The next day comes. Amane notices Mahira's face looks very red, but Mahira keeps denying it. So Amane makes her check her temperature. 5 minutes later Mahira shows the thermometer, saying she's fine, just a slight fever. 38.4 degrees Celsius is just a slight fever. Mahira still looks stubborn. Amane thinks it's winter break anyway, so he tells Mahira to go rest. But Mahira refuses to listen, so Amane stops arguing before Mahira can react. He carries her princess style to make her obey, ignoring her embarrassed face. Amane says he'll watch her until she falls asleep. Mahira quickly asks, "You're going into a girl's room?" Amane replies, "If you don't want that, then sleep in my room. Isn't there another choice?" "There was. If you'd rested properly earlier. Choose quickly, your room or mine." Mahira gets very shy. "What if I choose neither?" Amane says. "Then I'll break into your place and throw you on the bed. Then your room." Soon Amane prepares everything. But as he's about to leave, Mahira nervously grabs his pants leg. Amane is surprised. Mahira quickly realizes what she did and covers her red face with the blanket. She actually wants Amane to stay with her. Hearing this, Amane immediately reacts. As Mahira's eyes widen in surprise, Amane already holds her small hand. Mahira protests that she's not a child anymore. But Amane has his reasons. He says it's to prevent her from running away. Wow, Amane's really smooth with his tricks. "I won't run away like this," she says, maybe because she now has a good excuse. Mahira holds Amane's hand tightly and falls asleep peacefully. After Mahira slowly drifts off to sleep, Amane finally leaves, feeling relieved. The next morning Amane notices Mahira still has a fever, so he prepares a bowl of porridge for her. After all, when he had a fever before, Mahira took care of him the same way. But just as he's about to leave, Mahira's unconscious expression makes him stop without hesitation. Amane sits down beside her. "I'm free right now anyway. I can keep you company until you fall asleep." Mahira happily agrees. She says, "You said it yourself, okay." "No, taking it back." Amane looks indifferent, but inside he's overjoyed. He lets Mahira keep holding his hand. Mahira says his hand is warm. Amane doesn't react to her teasing words, just telling her to close her eyes and sleep. 2.5 hours later, Mahira finally falls asleep. While the girl is sound asleep, he gently touches her cheek. Startled, Mahira half opens her eyes sleepily, making Amane panic. Luckily she doesn't fully wake up and he sighs in relief. But 2 seconds later Mahira is the dream girl of the whole school, always appearing perfect. But since meeting Amane on a rainy day, they'd become neighbors. Now Mahira cooks for him every day, acting just like a couple. Yesterday was New Year's Eve and after exchanging greetings the atmosphere felt a little strange. It seemed like they were spending New Year's alone, together. Amane feels the atmosphere is a bit strange. After all, it looks like they're spending New Year's Eve alone together, but Mahira doesn't seem to mind. "Please take care of me this year too," she says. Seeing Mahiru's cute expression, Amain quickly says he's the one who should be saying that, which is actually true. Just then both their phones vibrate at the same time, probably messages from their families. They wish they hadn't looked. It's Amain's mom sending nosy questions. Amain feels completely embarrassed. Then he gets New Year greetings from his dad, who says he wants to visit in 2 days. Amain just replies, okay. As he's about to tell Mahiru about this, she suddenly falls asleep on his shoulder. She'll catch a cold like this. Turns out, Mahiru worked hard all day preparing New Year's dinner, and she just recovered from a fever 2 days ago. That's why she fell asleep so quickly. This would be the perfect time for a Princess Carrie, but clueless Amain tries to shake her awake. Instead, unexpectedly, Mahiru ends up falling into his arms. A sweet fragrance fills the air. He wonders if he should try waking her again, but she looks so exhausted that would be too cruel. Taking her home doesn't seem right either, because that would mean searching her pockets for keys and entering a girl's room without permission. So then, the only option is to let her sleep in his room. Looking at Mahiru's peaceful sleeping face, he can't help but gently touch her cheek. Good night. Next morning Amain notices Mahiru still hasn't woken up, which seems strange to him. So he walks closer. If she sleeps too long it'll be awkward, but her sleeping face is so cute. After just 2 gentle touches, Mahiru suddenly opens her eyes, scaring Amain half to death. Turns out she just wanted more sleep. Amain feels relieved that he avoided trouble, but the next moment Mahiru grabs Amain's hand and starts rubbing it against her cheek. Her shy, cute expression makes Amain blush instantly. Finally, Mahiru slowly opens her eyes. She sees Amain's surprised face. Only then does Mahiru remember that she just did something embarrassing. Amain explains, "You fell asleep at my place, so I moved you to the bed." He adds that he didn't do anything inappropriate, and says she should thank him properly. She asks, "Do you like touching people's faces? After all, on Christmas and right before I fell asleep yesterday, you did it too, right?" Hearing this, Amain realizes Mahiru was actually awake yesterday. Blushing, Mahiru explains she woke up when he moved her to the bed and had no choice but to pretend to be asleep. Amain says seriously, "Weren't you afraid I might do something?" Mahiru replies, "I didn't think you'd do that, but I also wanted to test you a little. I'm happy you trust me, but please don't do this again. After all, I'm still a guy." 2.5 days later, Amain's parents arrive at his apartment as planned. After greetings, his mom immediately looks for Mahiru. She clearly sees Mahiru as her future daughter-in-law. After everyone exchanges greetings, they sit together and chat. Seeing Amain's parents being affectionate, Mahiru looks surprised. Amain just shrugs. He's watched them like this for over a decade. Mahiru smiles warmly at this. Then his mom suggests they go for New Year's shrine visits together. She even prepared yukata for both of them. She always wanted a daughter and thinks Mahiru will look lovely in it. But Amain worries about being seen by classmates. His mom easily solves this. In under 2.5 minutes Amain gets a complete makeover. Even his hairstyle gets a complete makeover. His dad proudly says, "That's my son. Once you tidy up, you're one handsome guy." Just then Mahiru appears in front of them wearing a yukata. Amain is stunned for a good 2 seconds. She's so cute. Seizing the moment, his mom nudges him, asking how he feels. But Amain just blushes and mumbles, "It suits you." While his parents go to prepare the car, Amain finally compliments Mahiru properly. "You look like a graceful yukata beauty. Not just cute, but really pretty." But he quickly catches himself remembering. Mahiru doesn't like being praised. Unexpectedly, Mahiru's face turns bright red. She stammers, "You're also really," but cuts off, too flustered to continue. Then she whispers softly to Amain, You're really handsome too." The path to the shrine is crowded, but passers-by keep glancing back at them as if amazed by how perfect they look together. Suddenly Mahiru stops walking. Her yukata skirt is getting in the way. She says it's fine but almost trips the next second. Luckily Amain catches her in time to prevent it from happening again. He tells Mahiru to hold his hand. Though shy, she does as he says. After visiting the shrine they head back. On the way they pass a drink stall. Amain curiously asks to try Mahiru's sweet red bean soup. Mahiru is flustered. Amain backs off, saying it's okay if she refuses. But after hesitating she finally agrees. In exchange she wants to taste Amain's sweet sake. They swap drinks. As Amain marvels at how sweet the soup is, he notices Mahiru frozen in place. He worries the sake doesn't suit her taste. But she murmurs, "This feels like an indirect kiss." Only then does Amain realize his mistake. Amain quickly bows to Mahiru and says, "It's all because I learned bad habits from Chitose and the others." After hearing Amain's explanation, Mahiru looks even more confused. "Do you do this with Chitose and the others too?" he says. "Yeah, since we're all friends," she replies. "Oh really? So you and I are just friends too, nothing special." When they get home that evening, Amain apologizes again, but Mahiru says she had a great time today and that today she experienced what happiness feels like for the first time. Looking at the adorable Mahiru, Amain can't help but pat her head. Mahiru protests, "You're messing up my hair. At least warn me before you do that." Mahiru looks exasperated. Randomly touching a girl's head isn't a good habit. But Amain says, "I only do it to you." Hearing this makes Mahiru's face turn even redder. Amain thinks she wants him to keep petting her. She says, "You dummy." One day Chitose visits Amain's house because Valentine's Day is coming, but Amain says he never celebrates Valentine's Day. Hearing this, Chitose glances at Mahiru nearby. Amain quickly interrupts. "What exactly do you want to discuss?" Chitose says, "I don't know what flavor chocolate to give my boyfriend. Since we're in high school now, I want to make something fancy." Amain suggests, "Why don't you ask Mahiru?" Turns out Chitose already did, but since Amain is technically a guy, she wanted his opinion too. Amain protests, "What do you mean technically? I'm a real man." This makes Chitose laugh. She says, "Real men don't live alone with girls." Amain looks guilty hearing this. Even Mahiru seems flustered. Seeing Mahiru blush, Amain quickly explains, "It's mutual, and we're not in that kind of relationship. I know my place." Even so, Amain knows the truth in his heart that he's lying if he says he's never thought about it. It would be a lie to say Amain never had those thoughts. But even so he can't let himself develop feelings for Mahiru. He doesn't want to make her cry and he definitely doesn't want her to hate him. Soon the three of them sit together and chat. Chitose says she'll give Amain some chocolates too. When asked what flavor he likes, Amain says he doesn't like things too sweet. "No problem. I'll just add some extra ingredients for you." Valentine's Day arrives soon after. The handsome guy in class is really popular. He gets so many gifts his hands are full. No surprise, all the boys in class stare at him. Being good-looking sure has its perks, but Amain thinks it's unexpected. Yet makes sense being stared at by so many guys probably isn't comfortable for him either. Then Itsuki tells Amain, "Chitose made chocolates for you too. You better be ready." Because she filled them with weird stuff. Sure enough, Chitose soon shows up with the chocolates. They're not just spicy, some are super bitter or way too sweet. "Enjoy them slowly." She leaves with her boyfriend. After saying that, Amain notices the popular guy still hasn't left. He's probably struggling to carry all those gifts. So Amain walks over and pulls out a shopping bag from his backpack to give him. This should make it easier to carry. After a quick chat, Amain leaves back home. Amain falls for Chitose's prank chocolates. If he had to describe the taste, it's like a dog eating something gross. Luckily, Mahiru hands him hot chocolate to wash away the bad taste. After thanking her, Amain takes a small sip. Surprisingly, it tastes really good. Mahiru is definitely more reliable. But Amain is a little confused. She usually makes warm milk, not hot chocolate. Why did she make hot chocolate today? Is it because it's Valentine's Day? She says. He says, "Thanks, this really helps. It's really good." Then she mentions she's going home. Amain looks confused. Did he do something wrong? So he gets up and walks to the door but finds a gift box hanging on the doorknob. The card says, "Thanks for always taking care of me. This is my way of saying thank you." When Amain opens it, inside are candied orange peels. Knowing Amain doesn't like sweet things much, Mahiru especially made them how he likes. Then Amain remembers his talk with Chitose. Mahiru really remembered everything he said. Looking at the cute little orange peels, Amain feels warmth in his heart. This must be what love feels like. After school the next day, Yuta, the popular guy who got many gifts yesterday, approaches Amain. Girls nearby look curious. They've never interacted before. Yuta thanks Amain for yesterday's shopping bag. Amain says it was nothing. "You must have it tough," Amain says. These simple words touch Yuta deeply. After exchanging pleasantries, Yuta returns to his seat. Just then Itsuki comes over. He asks what happened with Yuta. Amain explains yesterday's events. Seems Yuta got more gifts than expected. But more importantly, Amain carrying shopping bags totally looks like a married man. When Amain gets home, Mahiru is already waiting on the sofa. She's just too adorable. Amain asks what she wants in return. Mahira says she didn't give it to get something back. Even so, Amain thinks as a guy he can't just accept gifts from girls. That's not right. Mahira doesn't mind, though she's already gotten so much from Amain. But Amain won't let it go. He insists he must return the favor. Since you won't tell me, I'll think of something you'd like myself. Mahira nods obediently. She says she'll treasure anything Amain gives her. Just like the teddy bear you gave me before. Hearing this, Amain seems to get an idea. Now Mahira grows curious. She asks when Amain's birthday is. Surprisingly, his birthday passed recently. Mahira looks upset. But we already knew each other then. Why didn't you tell me? Amain looks innocent. Well, you never asked. And we weren't as close as we are now. It would have been weird to mention it. Suddenly a small hand tugs at Amain's sleeve. Mahira says shyly. Then we must celebrate properly this year. Looking at the sweet girl before him, Amain freezes for 2 seconds. I didn't expect you'd make such a long-term promise. The next day Amain visits a gift shop alone. A shop assistant kindly asks if he needs help. Amain says he wants to buy jewelry as a return gift for a friend, but worries she might not like it. The assistant replies, if you're close friends, she'll love anything from you. Later that evening Amain returns home. Mahira is stunned by his appearance. Why is Amain dressed so nicely? It's white day today. He wanted to look presentable. Seeing Mahira's dazed expression, Amain thinks his outfit failed. As he turns to change clothes, Mahira stops him. She was just surprised, because Amain looks unexpectedly handsome. He usually dresses more maturely. This new style makes Mahira fidget. Should I change back? No, stay like this. Then Amain remembers. Amain remembers he bought a gift from Mahira today. After thanking Amain, Mahira asks if she can open it now. When Amain says yes, Mahira finds a bracelet inside Skinny. Amain worries if she'll like it, but Mahira happily says it's cute. Looks like Amain chose well. Mahira then spots a card in the bag too. Seeing her pick it up, Amain's heart starts pounding. He explains it's to thank Mahira for her kindness. So he wants to grant her one wish. The card says, I'll do anything you ask. Seeing the little bear Amain drew, he nervously says it's badly drawn. But Mahira disagrees. She thinks it's really good. She asks if she can use the card right away. Amain says of course. Mahira holds out her hand. Can you put it on for me? Amain thinks this is too small a request. She's wasting her anything card. But he agrees and carefully puts the bracelet on her. Honestly, it looks perfect on Mahira. The next evening Amain comes home very late. The reason? He and Itsuki secretly ate fries after school. Hearing this makes Mahira upset. She already made dinner. Amain promises to eat everything. Mahira almost says he'll get fat, but remembers he's actually too skinny. Maybe gaining weight is fine. Amain argues back. You should eat more. You're so thin you might break. He takes Mahira's small hand without thinking it really is too thin. Then he realizes this isn't right. He quickly apologizes. I shouldn't touch you without asking, Mahira says. No, I don't mind when you touch me. Not that I want you to touch me more. I just don't want other guys to touch me, Amain replies. Oh, okay. Their back and forth is like a tense tug-of-war. To avoid awkwardness, Amain makes an excuse to change clothes and heads to his room. Mahira sweetly agrees, but once he's back in his room he suddenly feels flustered. This feels exactly like having a newlywed wife. The next day at school Itsuki explains he fought with his dad and needs to stay at Amain's place for a few days. Amain doesn't mind, but he has to check with Mahira first. After all, she's staying there too. Itsuki apologizes to Mahira for intruding, but Mahira doesn't seem bothered. The more the merrier, she says, then heads to cook dinner, watching Mahira act like the lady of the house. Itsuki teases Amain. Wow, you're close enough to share keys. Soon Mahira prepares a feast. Itsuki jokes. You're lucky, eating her delicious food every day. Amain sighs but praises Mahira's cooking. Mahira blushes and thanks him. Itsuki starts noticing something. After dinner he confronts Amain. You're only gentle with Mahira. You obviously like her. But Amain stubbornly denies it. Itsuki knows the truth. Amain acts lazy and rough at school, but that's just a front. Mahira sees his kind heart. Keep lying to yourself, Itsuki smirks. Amain ignores him and flops down to sleep. The next day Chitose hears Itsuki staying over and barges in too. To everyone's annoyance, she and Itsuki start flirting shamelessly. Amain rolls his eyes and helps Mahira cook. Instead Mahira giggles. They can't help themselves, huh? Amain finds this ridiculous. He walks over to Mahira and helps her cook. Mahira says those two can't stand being apart for even a second. Amain just sighs helplessly. Right now he cares more about what's for lunch. Mahira says Chitose requested omelette rice. She adds softly that Amain probably likes it too. He totally does. He says Mahira's omelette rice is amazing. She smiles. I'm glad you think so. During lunch, Chitose keeps praising Mahira, calling her incredible. There's nothing she can't do. Itsuki chimes in. How did you make the middle so perfectly runny, so cool? Mahira humbly replies. I learned from a great teacher. Chitose gets excited. If I learned too, maybe I could cook as well as Mahira. Amain advises her not to bother. First rule of cooking, be responsible. Chitose mentions that at school Mahira seemed kinda boring. Actually not boring. More like she looked down on everyone. But compared to then, I love her sweet, soft eyes now. She suggests Mahira should be more honest. Like acting cute with Amain. After all, he spoils you rotten. If you pouted at him, he'd melt instantly. Mahira huffs. No way. That night Amain checks his phone after a shower. Chitose has sent him a message. His face turns red when he opens it. It's a photo of a flustered Mahira. Itsuki sneakily sends one too. Amain in his tank top. Soon their 2.5-day sleepover ends. After the chaotic duo leaves, Amain brings up the photos to Mahira. He's happy. She treasures the bear he gave her. Of course, she says firmly. I take good care of it. I even sleep with it every night. Then she freezes, realizing her slip-up. She says, please forget what just happened. She doesn't want anyone to know. She still sleeps while hugging a stuffed animal like a child. Amain imagines this scene in his head. It actually seems really sweet. Mahira shouts, don't imagine it. You have to tell me your embarrassing secrets too. It's not fair that it's always just me. Mahira threatens. If you won't tell me, I'll just ask Itsuki directly. Amain asks, when did you two exchange contact info? Mahira explains they got connected through Chitose, including those photos of Amain yesterday. Just mentioning this makes Mahira hide her face in embarrassment. At that moment Mahira's phone suddenly rings. When she checks it, she freezes completely. Amain asks what's wrong. She says, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. The next day, when Amain comes home, he sees a strange woman at Mahira's door lecturing her harshly with an annoyed expression. Mahira just keeps her head down. After the woman leaves, Amain approaches Mahira. She knows he overheard their conversation. That woman was her birth mother. They'd never gotten along. Her mother never liked her, which led to today's situation. As Mahira turns to go inside, Amain grabs her hand. He says, let's be together. She replies, I'm fine, don't worry. He insists, I want to be with you. And so Mahira comes to Amain's home holding hands. Mahira shares her family background. Her parents only married for family business reasons. They never loved each other or wanted children. Mahira was an accidental pregnancy, so they never planned to raise her. Mahira has barely seen her parents since she was little. It was actually the maid who raised her. They only gave money for her care, and they never needed her. No matter how hard she tried or how well she did, no matter how pretty she was, how good her grades were or how talented she was at sports, they never paid attention to her. She knew trying wouldn't change anything, but she kept trying anyway. She felt like such a fool, and because of her they couldn't even get divorced. Neither of them wanted to take her, so they waited until she graduated college. Once she became an adult they'd act like strangers. Hearing her own mother say, I don't need you, was a huge blow to her. That's why she sat on the swing that day, feeling hopeless. She thought, if I was such a burden, why did they even have me? Amain hugs her and says, I think I understand why you're like this now. She asks, is it an unlikable personality? He says, not at all. You endure things and don't easily show weakness to others. I'm not here to judge your family, and I can't interfere in other people's lives. But I'll pretend not to see. If you want to cry, just cry. Holding it in will only make it harder to breathe. At that moment Mahira finally breaks down. Tears silently roll down her cheeks. She leans into Amain's arms, letting her emotions out. Later they walk around town to clear their minds. Thinking about class reassignments again makes Mahira gloomy. Amain thinks she's worried about not being in the same class as Chitose. She turns away annoyed. Then she hugs him from behind and says, I want to thank you again. I've gained so much from you. He says, I haven't done anything special. She replies, it meant everything to me. I'm so glad you're here with me. I couldn't have handled it alone. Amain asks, really? Mahira says, keep your promise, pay attention to me. Don't look away. He says, but I can't see you now. She warns, look now and I'll get mad. He complains, you're being unreasonable. Amain thinks it's impossible not to like her when she acts this way. The girl quietly removes her clothes. Then she gently climbs onto Amain. When their eyes meet, their hormones go wild. The next moment she whispers, "Touch me more." Turns out it was all Amain's dream. Waking up, he realizes something's wrong. He checks under the blanket. Awful. Winter break passes quickly. Luckily, this year Amain gets placed in Mahira's class. Itsuki teases him about it. Amain secretly feels happy but pretends not to care. Just then popular guy Yuta comes over to say hi. He invites both boys to lunch. Itsuki jokingly asks, "Does Yuta like Amain?" This casual remark makes Mahira take it seriously. Seeing her dangerous expression, Amain gets confused after school at home. He thinks he upset Mahira and tries to apologize. She quickly stops him saying she's being too selfish. Amain disagrees. If Mahira is selfish, then everyone else must be worse. After his questioning, Mahira finally explains she's jealous of Yuta because while she has to hide it, Yuta can freely talk to Amain, same with Itsuki and Chitose. This makes her upset. Amain feels the same, but if Angel, Mahira talked to him, everyone would find it strange. Mahira looks upset when she hears this. She thinks Amain keeps putting himself down, and for people who believe in Amain this feels like an insult. So Mahira suggests an idea. Why not let her be Amain's promoter at school? It's a nice offer, but Amain finds it embarrassing. No matter how Amain explains, Mahira just wants to be connected to him at school. The next day arrives. First period is cooking class. The teacher lets students form groups freely. Right away, Mahira asks Amain to team up. Turns out Chitose planned this during class. She watches every move they make. Chitose teases them, saying they look like newlyweds. Mahira quickly cuts her off. Luckily Amain doesn't hear it. Mahira's face turns bright red. Soon, their dishes are ready. Itsuki is starving by now. Mahira goes to get salad from the fridge. Amain decides to join her. Meanwhile, two classmates are arguing loudly. Hot oil splashes from their pan. Amain quickly pulls Mahira away. Everyone stares in shock. Amain checks if Mahira is hurt. She wasn't hit by the oil. But Amain gets angry. He says it's fine to be noisy in class, but this place has fire and knives. If you hurt Mahira, can you take responsibility? The classmates apologize. Just be more careful next time, he says. These things are dangerous. He shows serious boyfriend energy. After this, the two classmates mop under supervision. After the incident, Mahira feels like she's getting closer to Amain at school. Amain notices people giving him envious looks sometimes. He says it's actually fine this way. After all, Mahira gets lonely easily. Besides, it wouldn't be good to exclude friends at school. When Amain says they're just friends, Mahira gets a little angry. Mahira looks so cute when she's mad. Amain can't help but pat Mahira's head. Mahira feels helpless about this. Do you think I'll stop being angry if you pat my head? But Amain thought patting her head would make her happy. Hearing this, Mahira's face turns red. Well, it does make her happy, but you can't just pat someone's head anytime, he says. I wouldn't do this to anyone but you, she says, you dummy. I can't believe how dense Amain is. The angel is practically confessing to you and you're still clueless. Everyone please like this video. Consider it as punching Amain for me, but Amain is actually good at cheering girls up. The next day he goes to the arcade to win plushies. He returns home at night. Mahira has already made warm food waiting for him. Soon she notices the bag in Amain's hand. Amain says they're his prizes, but first he wants to eat. He'll show Mahira after dinner. After finishing their meal, Mahira stares at the rabbit plush in her hands. Amain thinks she doesn't like it, but actually she loves it. Not just that, she treasures every gift from Amain. Seeing Mahira's cute expression, Amain can't help but smile. When Mahira notices his smile, her face turns red and she hides it. She says, "Stop smiling secretly," he says. "I wasn't doing that," she says. "Yes, you were. You were totally smiling. You must think I'm childish," he says. "I don't think you're childish. I just think you're cute." Before Mahira can finish, Amain gently places his hand on her head. Mahira suddenly realizes she's always taking from Amain, whether it's gifts, care or warmth, so she wants to give Amain something in return. Although Amain says Mahira doesn't need to repay him, she insists on doing so. Finally, Amain admits there is one thing he'd like from Mahira. Seeing Amain give in, Mahira immediately says she'll give him anything he wants, no matter what it is. This makes Amain freeze for a moment. But all Amain really wants is for Mahira to make pudding tomorrow. The next day Mahira goes to the supermarket for ingredients. Soon Amain enjoys the delicious pudding. Honestly, Mahiru is amazing. She can do anything and makes everything so tasty. Thanks to her, Amain feels so happy. Are you happy? She asks. Of course, Amain replies. Getting to eat delicious food every day makes him look forward to each new day. Hearing this, Mahiru's face turns red. Being complimented makes her happy. Amain wants to praise her more, but Mahiru says she might fall for him if he continues. But straightforward, Amain doesn't care. Thank you for everything, he says. This thanks makes Mahiru flustered. She tries to cool off in the kitchen, but Amain follows her. Seeing Mahiru's dazed expression, Amain tells her to wait on the sofa while he cleans up. 2.5 weeks pass. Long vacation is coming soon. Amain thought Mahiru disliked long breaks, but it's not that she dislikes them, she just doesn't know how to spend the time. Amain agrees holidays are nice, but having nothing to do gets boring. Hearing this, Mahiru gets an idea. She takes out the obedience card Amain gave her before. She wants Amain to spend a day with her. Of course Amain agrees, but she doesn't need to waste an obedience card for this. Yet Mahiru insists on using it because she wants Amain to do everything she says that day. Since she's being so insistent, Amain has no choice but to agree. But when Amain asks what Mahiru wants him to do that day, Mahiru hesitantly mentions carrying her bags. Amain doesn't notice anything strange, so he asks Mahiru where they're going. But Mahiru hasn't decided yet. Since it's her first time going out with Amain, she wants to pick a place they'll both enjoy. So Amain tells Mahiru he actually has a place in mind, a cat cafe. Hearing this, Mahiru immediately agrees. She's also curious about visiting a cat cafe, since she's never been to one before. When Amain agrees, Mahiru can't help but smile happily. Now she's really looking forward to their day off. Soon their free day arrives. Mahiru wears a simple, pure style outfit that makes Amain stare in awe. It's his first time seeing Mahiru with her hair up, but Mahiru misunderstands his reaction, thinking he finds her overdressed. Amain says, "Not at all. I think you look cuter than ever." Soon they arrive at the cat cafe. Turns out Mahiru can't resist fluffy animals at all, and when she sees the adorable cat-shaped coffee she can't bring herself to drink it. This makes Amain laugh out loud. Then they hold hands while shopping at the mall. Passing a clothing store, Amain spots an outfit that would suit Mahiru. Learning it's Amain's favorite style, Mahiru says she'll try it on. While waiting outside the fitting room, two girls suddenly approach Amain and invite him for afternoon tea. Right at that moment Mahiru steps out wearing the new clothes. She grabs Amain's arm. "Sorry to keep you waiting, we'll be leaving now." Amain is pleasantly surprised by her boldness, not realizing Mahiru is actually jealous. Next they visit an arcade to play crane games. Lucky Mahiru wins a kitten plushie and decides to give it to Amain. Amain tries to refuse at first. After all, Mahiru worked really hard to win it, but Mahiru says she only tried so hard for Amain. Hearing this, Amain gratefully accepts it. He won't keep it by his pillow like Mahiru does, but he promises to treasure it. Mahiru's face turns red again. Amain reaches out to pat her head. Suddenly Yuta appears. He asks, "Did I interrupt something?" Mahiru quickly says it's nothing. Yuta says, "So Mahiru has a boyfriend. This is news to me." Mahiru explains they're not dating. When Yuta looks closer he realizes the boy with Mahiru is actually Amain. After Amain explains everything, Yuta understands the situation. But that's not important. What matters is Amain actually looks quite handsome when cleaned up. Yuta asks Mahiru if she thinks so too. Mahiru shyly says yes. Yuta says, "I think I get your relationship now." Mahiru asks Yuta to keep this a secret. Yuta agrees without hesitation. He's not interested in spreading rumors. After Yuta leaves, Amain apologizes to Mahiru. He didn't expect to be seen, but Mahiru doesn't mind. She already thought they might meet someone they know. Amain's glad it was Yuta who saw them. It could have been worse. Mahiru notices Amain thinks highly of Yuta. "Birds of a feather flock together," she says. But Amain doesn't think he compares to Yuta. Yuta's not just good looking but also has a great personality. Mahiru doesn't like Amain putting himself down. Amain says it's just a habit. But that's not a good habit to have. Seeing Amain stay silent, Mahiru quickly breaks the awkward silence. She promises to always believe in Amain, so she asks him to have more confidence in himself. Hearing this, Amain feels warmth in his heart. Soon it's the next day. Yuta is chatting with Amain and Itsuki. Amain tries to explain his relationship with Mahiru, but Itsuki says Mahiru cooks at Amain's place daily. Amain is shocked by this. Itsuki claims the truth would come out anyway. Yuta's first thought is that Mahiru is Amain's live-in wife. Hearing this, Amain immediately denies it, but his explanations aren't convincing. Yuta can't take it anymore. Girls usually don't go to guys they dislike. If she didn't like you, she wouldn't enter your room at all. Itsuki agrees with Yuta. Then Yuta asks if Amain likes Mahiru. Amain is stunned by the question. What's wrong with liking her? When Amain gets home later, Mahiru quickly hides something. Amain notices this right away. When he learns it's childhood photos sent by his mom, he eagerly tries to see them. At that moment Mahiru slips and falls into an awkward position. As their eyes meet, Mahiru slowly closes hers, expecting a kiss. Amain instead gently pinches Mahiru's cheek. He even says, "Her face looks funny." Mahiru is speechless at this. "You push a girl down and touch her face. Is that all you have to say?" she says. "I unlocked it. You can look now." He says okay. Now Amain isn't even thinking about the photos. Neither is Mahiru. 2.5 days pass quickly. Mother's Day is coming soon. Mahiru wonders what Amain will do for it. Amain says since he's away from home, he'll just mail some small gifts and flowers. He could do more if he were there. Mahiru thinks he means housework, but that's giving him too much credit, because doing housework would only cause trouble for his parents. This makes Mahiru even more curious. If Amain can't do any housework at all, why did his parents let him live alone? Hearing this, Amain remembers something from the past. He explains that he simply couldn't stay in his hometown anymore, so he wanted to move somewhere else. Seeing Mahiru looking sad, Amain pats her head gently and comforts her, saying there are just some people he doesn't want to see, and tells her not to worry. Mahiru doesn't believe this at all. If it were really that simple, Amain wouldn't have made that face earlier. She says it's okay if he doesn't want to talk about it, but seeing Amain so upset makes her feel bad too. After Mahiru shows such concern, Amain decides to tell her the truth. Actually, Amain's family was always well off. He grew up being loved and cared for, but back then he didn't realize how precious this was and couldn't tell people's true intentions. Basically, he was too naive, and because of his naivety people easily took advantage of him. One day he heard his friends calling him stupid, saying he wasn't good looking but acted like he was popular. They said, "Don't be so mean, he always pays for us. Besides that, what other use does he have?" Amain saw and heard all of this. He didn't back away, but confronted them directly, just as expected. They only saw him as a money source. After that, Amain's personality changed. He stopped trusting people easily. Then he left his hometown, wanting to start fresh where nobody knew him. After hearing this, Mahiru says she wants to punch those guys. But Amain says his pain is nothing compared to Mahiru's. Mahiru disagrees because these things can't be compared. Only the person feeling the pain truly understands it. All she can do is accept Amain's pain as it is. Then she becomes Amain's strong support, standing by him, just like how she's always relied on Amain before. Amain thinks this might make him useless, but his worry is unnecessary, because Amain has always been useless anyway. But Mahiru knows Amain has good character, and he can endure a lot. But when it's just them, she wants Amain to act spoiled with her. Right after saying this, Mahiru pulls Amain's head against her chest. Amain looks completely shocked. "You can't just force people like this," she says, only noticing now. Girls can be pretty pushy sometimes. The next day arrives quickly. A classmate suddenly asks Mahiru if she went shopping with a boy recently. Hearing this, Amain panics. But Mahiru doesn't hide anything. She admits it openly. The girl asks what their relationship is, making the boys nearby nervous. Luckily, Mahiru says they're just friends. Amain sighs in relief. "So it wasn't a date?" the classmate asks. Mahiru catches this word immediately. She says, "Well, you could call it a date." Amain's relief turns back to panic. The boys are shocked too. "What do you mean?" they ask. "We're not dating," she says, "but he's the most important person to me." Back at home, Amain asks Mahiru about it. Mahiru was telling the truth. Her world is very small. She can count her loved ones on one hand, so Amain is her closest and most special person. Besides, hiding things would look suspicious, so it's better to share a little. Amain accepts her explanation. At dinner, Amain says he wants to exercise more. Mahiru is completely surprised. She never expected to hear this from someone who usually gives up easily like Amain. She says new things are always hard at first. He should come act spoiled with her instead, whenever he wants. She says she can satisfy Amain anytime he wants. Hearing this, Amain is shocked. "You don't want something in return, do you?" She says of course she does, and Mahiru's demands will be even more unreasonable. This makes Amain curious. Then tell me one right now, she stammers. My request is, please pat my head, he asks. That's all, she says. That's all. I like how it feels when you touch me. Soon evening arrives. Amain just fell asleep when Mahiru suddenly climbs onto him. Then she says, I like you. Looking at Mahiru, Amain blushes hard. She says, touch me more. Turns out it was just Amain's dream. After waking up he checks under the blanket. His pants are dirty. Helpless, he gets up to wash his clothes at school. Chitose notices Amain acting strange. You look tired. What's wrong? Amain glances at Mahiru and makes up an excuse about morning jogging. Chitose teases him about it. Mahiru tells Amain to go home and rest after school, but this makes Amain remember his dream again. Mahiru looks confused by his reaction at home. She asks, Are you mad at me? Or did I do something wrong? Amain quickly says no, it's just his own issue. But Mahiru thinks he dislikes her. Now Amain explains he just overthought things. When she learns she tempted him in his dream, Mahiru isn't angry. She asks how she tempted him. Why does she ask? She wants to use it as reference later. This embarrasses Amain. His heart can't handle that for real. Actually, Amain might be the most innocent guy Mahiru knows. She never thought she'd get this close to a boy before. Amain is probably the only one she's this comfortable with. But Amain is no different. He's never had a proper relationship with a girl either. Hearing this, Mahiru seems pleased. Midterm exams are just a few days away. To study better, Yuta and Itsuki organize a study group. They decide to meet at Amain's place. Mahiru has no objections. She even offers to prepare lunch for everyone. She also wants to join the study session herself. She asks Amain to invite Chitose too. After all, Chitose has been pestering her all day. The next day arrives quickly. Everyone shows up as planned. They get straight to studying. The session goes surprisingly well. Only Itsuki gets distracted and playful. Later, they all enjoy lunch together. The mood is warm and cheerful. Soon 2.5 hours pass. It's time for everyone to leave, after the others go. Amain thanks Mahiru. She really put in a lot of effort, but Mahiru only does this for the people she wants to care for. To Amain, Mahiru just wants to look after a hopeless guy like him. And it's true, without Mahiru, Amain would be a mess. Hearing this, Amain has no comeback. She says, It's okay, because I really enjoy taking care of you. He says, You're making me lazy. I'm becoming someone who can't survive without you. She replies, Just relax and become useless.